Hello, the game we're watching at today is fresh from the US Senior Championship. It's between Shelby Getz with the white pieces and Joel Benjamin with the black pieces. It's actually the last game from Joel where he needed to draw to secure the title. So we start with actually a3. So Shelby, the FIDE master, playing with the white pieces, played a3 the entire tournament actually. I guess in a bit to go out of block early. Benjamin is not impressed that much by that, as he already anticipated it as well. And yeah, there's not a real good defense for it. Although it's not losing instantly, of course, since you basically just give up a move. So knight to c3, d5, bishop to g5, and now we get bishop to g7. Um, yeah, so you don't want to develop, of course, on b4. That's not possible anymore. That was perhaps the one of the few points of a3. Also, the black knight cannot get her anymore. So the black bishop goes on the long diagonal, where it's very active. So one of the few pluses for a3 is with that also taken away. A queen to d2, and not sure why it's not showing. Queen to d2, yeah. h6. Benjamin plays the move and the rook pawn when it actually gains a tempo, attacking the bishop. Bishop f4, c5, and e3. Now after black castles, white also castles, and yeah, honestly it is not wrong in itself, but it does castle into the attack. It's very common in Sicilian positions. Perhaps Getz was like, okay, this kind of looks like a Sicilian since c5 is played, although it would be Sicilian with one less move for white. And as you can see, black has quite a lot pointed already at white king. So yeah, it is clear that it's going to be a sharp game, and I have to give kudos to Getz for creating a game against a player that's more than 200 points above him and tournament leader at the moment. Knight c6 and f3. F3 clearly preparing moves like g4 and h4. So white is saying what was to be expected. Of course, I'm going to attack your king. So trying to create a sharp position with chances on both ends. But after knight h5, reality kind of kicks in, and well, when I saw this move during the live game, I was myself considering, well, likely bishop to g3, and after knight takes, h takes, c takes, e takes, black has a quite an okay position, already pressure on the central pawn that white needs to defend, and it looks very good for black also with the bishop pair on the board. However, it did not happen. In the game, Shelby Getz actually played bishop to e5. I did not anticipate it at all. It's a move you visually don't want to play, but perhaps honestly not that bad. So Joel Benjamin thought for a bit, and knight takes e5, and after d takes e5, bishop takes e5. Now moves that can be played would, for example, the queen trade, queen takes, and after takes. Well, we have two choices here. Let's say we take with the rook, then we get bishop takes, and after b takes b6. This is a very strong position for black. It will develop the bishop with tempo on e6. The white pawn structure is messed up, so I would be very happy sitting on the black end here. If you go for the recapture with the knight, which would be more logical, you also attack the pawn on e7. You might get something like e6, and after knight e7, check, king to g7, and white is not so developed, but the black bishop on c8 is also not quick in moving itself. So white might use that to capture actually the bishop for the knight if it needs to get into safety. However, that also did not happen. Instead of playing the queen trade line, white opted to play knight takes d5. Now if black wants, of course, he can still play e6, and then after knight c3 we still have the queen trade on the board with a bad development of the white pieces. Still the bishop needs to move, the knight still needs to move, and yeah, it will take a while before white is completely ready. Black on the other hand has options in this position. It's black to move, and we can consider bishop takes c3, again messing up the pawn structure, and following it up, or now playing b6 and bishop to b7, keeping the bishop pair on the board is an option, and repositioning our knight to f6 is also fine. We want to do that anyway, and we have time for it because of the current position of the undeveloped white king side. However, e6 was not played. Black was like, I'll play bishop to e6, and the idea behind that is instantly clear. Actually, you have two bishops shining at the white position. After the knight moves or the knight is taken, we can move our queen to, for example, c7 or b6, and then making a room for a rook to be placed on d8 and attack the white queen with tempo. So yeah, very logical move considering the position as well. Knight e2, white desperately wants to go to c3 to replace the knight when it is taken. But yeah, black does not allow that, and after bishop takes, it's queen takes, and now black doesn't even want the queen trade anymore, queen c7. After queen c7, Joel Benjamin, who only needed to draw for the tournament, offered to draw right here, and in this position, being a FIDE master, being rated 200 points less, trailing the rankings, and yeah, playing against the tournament leader, Shelby Getz decided to not accept the draw after a couple of minutes of thinking and move f4. And absolutely for that, I take my hat off, sir. You are playing in style for sure. Not a style that will make you win, but yeah, I do respect it, absolutely. Here, bishop g7 was played, and that is actually missing the winning move, bishop takes b2 check. Because after king takes b2, it's actually a simple tactic, rook a to d8, and now you can choose as white, or you lose your queen against the rook, which you don't choose, so you will play queen to e5, for example, and in that case, we will win the rook on d1, and we are quality up and a clearly better position. So that was a miss at that moment. The bishop on g7 is strong, and the position is very strong for black. Knight to g3 was played, and now rook a to d8. As mentioned before, we attacked the white queen with tempo, and the white queen needs to move. I expected queen to f3 just for the simple reason that after rook takes, you have queen takes, and then yeah, you still get rook to d8 again, attacking the queen, and you need to move your queen again. But Shelby decided to not go there and put the queen on b3. Well, that will, however, lead to rook takes d1 check, and after king takes, rook d8 check, king to c1, and now knight takes g3 and h takes g3, and we get a nasty little rook lift on d6 with a very clear threat, b6, and the pawn on b2 is going to fall, and that is not a nice pawn to lose. c3, it needs to do something against a very strong bishop on the g7 diagonal. Queen to c6, and yeah, now if you would play, let's say, bishop to c4, then black can simply play e6, and black still eyes the pawn at g2 as well, threatening to come into the white position as well, which is very good. But instead of e6, you can also just choose for the simple queen takes g2 instantly, and then after check, king a7, yeah, now white is still in a lot of pain. We can continue with like rook d1, rook takes, king takes, but this again is clearly a position that I wouldn't say that black has a very big chance of losing. So it looks very, very good here from the black perspective. Um, so bishop to c4 would not have been a good move, and white decides for queen to c2. Queen to d5 now, threatening to play queen a2. It looks absolutely devastating. And white plays e4, allowing queen a2. Well, don't tell that to Benjamin twice. Queen a2 is played, and honestly, it even looks visually horrible without even calculating anything. I mean, the queen threatens to go to a1. You have rooks controlling the d file, so the king cannot go there, and the bishop is still on the diagonal. It really looks horrendous. Bishop d3, trying to hold on. c4 is like almost automatic, and now there are quite some issues. If white would play bishop to e2, then boom, bishop takes c3. Again, we had this type of move earlier when it was bishop takes b2 check. And now if, well, what shall we choose? If we play with the queen, then we get queen a1, king c, and rook take, queen takes rook. And that's very nice. If we take with the pawn, it's even worse, because we get a million checks. First queen a1 check, queen moves, queen takes c3 check, queen moves, queen takes a3 check, queen moves, a queen to e3 check, and now the king needs to move to b1. And there we go, rook to b6, and it's all over. So that is a serious problem. Our bishop is attacked. White plays the, well, I wouldn't say only move because it doesn't even help, but plays queen to b1. And now queen b3, bishop to c2, and now queen b6 is very annoying. It threatens mate in 1. It's a very interesting mate in 1 threat, I would say. Yeah, so white needs to make space for its king, queen a2. So that is so far the only benefit I saw of the a2, a3 move. The queen can now move to a2. But now Joel Benjamin found a knockout blow that landed him the championship for sure. If you want to find it, take a few seconds to pause the video. I'm going to continue, and honestly I think you found the move, as it is actually a theme in this video. It was bishop takes c3. It's devastating. If you take, then you get queen to e3 check, king b1, rook to b6, and well, now the best move is to put your queen in front, which you might as well hit the resign button. And if you don't do that, you have to play king to a1, and then you get queen takes c3. And now, yeah, let's not continue the last two moves, shall we? So white cannot take. White did not take. White did not resign yet. He played rook to d1, and now we get queen to e3 check. It's actually, I think it's actually very nice of Shelby again, because he actually continues it till the end. Rook takes d1 check, bishop takes, queen d3 check, bishop to c, queen to f1 check, and now after bishop d1, Shelby Getz allowed Joel Benjamin to finish off in style and put checkmate on the board. So after queen takes d1, here as you can see, this is a checkmate. I thought this was an absolutely lovely game, at least from a Kibitzer's perspective. Sure, it was a bit less fun from White's perspective. I hope you enjoyed the game. Let me know in the comments if you found some lines that are interesting and that I didn't go over. I will be uploading some amateur games and also the US Women Championships that are going on right now. I will look at and upload some videos from. Yeah, so let me know if you want to see any other videos, and I hope to see you in the future again. Bye bye.